So after 84 years of delays, we have finally got the New Mutants. New Mutants is about 5 teenagers who go through all these procedures trying to find a cure for their mutant powers. Now, personally, I was never really that enthusiastic about the New Mutants. So towards the end of it, I was just excited to finally see it and see what this movie actually turns out to be. But when the trailer first dropped, I never watched it. I don't actually, from best of my memory, I've never seen a trailer for the New Mutants. I've just seen the poster of like all their faces, like half with skeletons, and the New Mutants behind them. That's the only marketing I've seen in the past 3 years, which, in all fairness, I think that's kind of impressive that that's the only marketing I have seen for this movie that was supposed to come out 3 years ago. So I think that's kind of impressive. But so going into it, I had no idea what it is. I just knew that they were in some kind of facility. It was part of the X-Men universe, but honestly, I had no idea what this movie was about. So went in with expectations my expectations were kind of low enough just because I knew it was reshot like 3 times. There's like 3 different editions out there. It was just postponed so much. So I was expecting this to be a piece of crap movie. But when I left it, I had a lot of fun with this movie. It's got loads of problems which I'm going to get into. But the story of the movie is the main part about it is this group of teenagers, which I actually got on board with. I enjoyed them and they reminded me a lot of the Breakfast Club. As I was watching it, there's a scene in particular when they're all sitting down in a kind of a break room watching stuff, dancing around. It reminded me very much of the Breakfast Club. All the relationships between them, even though some of them aren't perfect, as in like they don't like each other. But I just really enjoyed watching these 5 characters hanging out and spending time together. But besides that, that's the only real positive I have for this movie. The negatives are kind of, the villain is very one note. It's very generic, very forgettable. Just your ordinary, forgettable superhero villain, just in a white lab coat. Nothing really new to bring. As well, the final battle, which kind of for a lot of X-Men movies is very forgettable, very bland, very boring. It's the 5 characters using their powers, but it's nothing new that we haven't seen in the X-Men universe before. Some of them are new, but some of them are just the same. But it's just bland. They're just fighting one big thing all that together, and it's just not really as satisfying as I was liking it to have been. The first half of this movie, when we're first being introduced to all our characters, it's very kind of slow, very boring. Not a lot actually happens. There's a character relationship that gets set up that is extremely obvious, that you know exactly where it's going to be. Now that's not a negative, that's not a positive, it's just something. As soon as I started playing out, I knew exactly where that relationship was going to be going. Now this also was marketed as our first superhero horror movie, and that concept alone got me so excited because I'm a massive horror fan. I was excited to see what this was going to bring, but the horror elements are few and far between. I actually forgot throughout this movie, like, oh yeah, this is meant to be a horror movie, isn't it? I was watching, oh, that was a kind of, that would be good if it was a horror movie. And I was thinking, oh wait, this is a horror movie. And then I realized that's not good because I was meant to be a horror movie. I forgot it was a horror movie, which kind of fails in the horror movie aspect. One of my biggest disappointments with this movie in general is the fact that we're never going to see anything else from this universe. I would love to see a follow-up. A series would probably work best. I think I would enjoy a Disney Plus series, but honestly, I don't think we're going to get to anything. I think Disney is just going to completely forget about this, unless it makes a lot of money, which also I cannot see happening. So I think that's kind of disappointing, that even though I enjoyed it, and I imagine a lot of people did enjoy these characters because they're all very likable. All the actors are very likable. Of course, you do have Maisie Williams from Game of Thrones fame. I think her name, I'm not even going to try to pronounce her name, but it's the girl from Glass. You also have the guy from Stranger Things. So there's so many recognizable faces that I imagine will drag some people to go see this movie. As well, the X-Men banner would drag a few people. So I would like to see a kind of continuation of these characters, because it's nothing like any other comic book movie. It's not like anything in the X-Men universe, none of the Spider-Man, Marvel, nothing DC, nothing. It's nothing like anything. It's very fresh. It is a very fresh movie because it feels like a breath of fresh air. It's nothing like anything else, and I enjoyed it for that aspect. Also, even though as I said, it doesn't really play into the horror as much as you would like it to do, I would like if they did continue with it and they went even more deeper into the horror aspect, because one of the characters in this movie in general has a really good power that would lend itself phenomenally well to the horror franchise. Even though I feel like I've got more negatives for this movie than positives, as I said, like I didn't like the action, I thought the villain was very bland and boring, I overall really enjoyed the movie, and I'm really excited to watch this again. I'm actually planning on picking up this one up on Blu-ray by day one, because I'm really excited to rewatch it, just alone for the characters. Honestly, I just really, really enjoyed the characters, just spending time with them, even if it was only for an hour and a half. I really enjoyed spending as much time as I could with these characters, and that's why, honestly, I would love to see a continuation. But if you've seen New Mutants, let me know your thoughts on New Mutants in the comment section down below. Click the subscribe button so you can see more content from me in the future. Just like tomorrow, I'll be dropping my Iron Man Trilogy ranked video, so if you want to see that, click the subscribe button so you can see that when it pops tomorrow. And as always, thanks for watching.